Hello and welcome to episode 13 of the Leading Minds podcast, where we interview people every week talking about mental health issues, different topics, the challenges they've faced and how they've overcome them. Now, we're obviously doing a series at the moment for Black History Month. This is the second installment of that. Today, our guest is inspirational fellow. I mean, the story that we're going to go through today is going to give you goosebumps at some point, and is really, really going to inspire you. Fashion designer, up and coming fashion designer, sufferer of some serious mental health issues, but absolutely an inspirational character. Mulz?
Thank you. Thank you for the introduction. It's weird when people give you some sort of introduction, but yeah, the story is it's a good story. It's a story with I think a lot of people can relate to as well, because I do feel like I'm not the only person who's ever gone through this or is currently going through what I did go through.
And that's one of the reasons why we do this podcast, is because a lot of people tend to end up being in a bubble and thinking that they're the only ones suffering from those issues. When they hear stories like this, they're able to turn around and say, do you know what? I'm not on my own, and my story isn't that as bad as X, Y, Z, and I can actually get out of this. So let's get straight into it. I mean, let's really actually touch on the topic of how bad it got for you. 2016, you're in a situation where you're in a very, very dark place. Talk to us about that and that day.
Craziest day of my life. I can still remember it right now. Just waking up and not wanting to wake up. Like, you wake up and it's a weird term which I have. If you've ever watched Alice in Wonderland and you see that cat that sleeps on people, it's like the sleeping cat. Like, when you're depressed, you get that. You want to sleep, and like this cat's just laid on top of you, and you cannot wake up. Yeah, you don't want to get out of bed. Like, you physically, mentally, everything, and you're just sunk and you're sinking in your bed every single day. And then waking up that day, then just everything spiraling, just not wanting to be there, like not feeling love, like, because you kind of do it to yourself where people do love you, but it's like sometimes you feel like you don't feel it. Yeah, you don't really feel it. So I felt like unloved. I felt like I was not doing the right thing. Life wasn't going well work-wise. I left university. I thought like, I'm just like a dropout. I'm never going to accumulate to life, because our environment tells us university is going to make you successful or doing this. And if you leave that, it's the end of the world, because all your life they're kind of preparing you for that. So when it doesn't happen, it seems so deep and it seems so cutthroat. And then coming from an African family, it's even more enhanced.
It's a massive cultural aspect.
It's even enhanced that. This is the only thing in life that will make you successful, and you want to make your parents happy as well, because that's what, as a kid, you always want to do that. You want to make your dad happy. You want to make your mom happy. So when they see you like away from that, I just felt that I was excommunicated from the family, and my sister was doing good, and I'm just that nobody in the family, and so
black
much
sheep.
Exactly, and you're just telling yourself all these things.
But is that because you felt that, or were you made to feel like that?
I feel both. Environment, as in my parents and stuff, didn't make me feel like that. It's the environment, like where you're raised, everything what's telling you. Instagram, you go on that phone, it's telling you so much. You're scrolling up and it's telling you this is how to be successful, this is how to do this. If you're not doing this, you're not going to be. It's giving you, processing so much information that now it's like, if I'm not doing that, that means my life ain't good enough, or I'm not worthy. It's just like when girls look on Instagram and it shows this is how to be beautiful. They're now thinking I'm ugly, because that's just one piece of information that's telling you, and subconsciously, after a while, it starts eating upon you, and like it starts now being an insecurity.
So when you was at your worst, how did your parents respond to that? Because obviously, coming from a African household, it's like you said before, it's you must go to school, get good grades. You must go to university. I want you to be a doctor, or something like that.
Yeah, it's a difficult one, because my parents split up, and that was obviously a key factor with everything I was going through, and for them to understand that, obviously what they were going through, because with African parents, like, it can be very caught up in their own lives, and African people are never taught how to love and how to show love. So for my parents, dealing with something like that was something very fresh and very new. And obviously my mum's a nurse as well, so she dealt with it very well. And even just like the hug that my mum gave me, it was just like very different, because you don't really get that. And even after so many years, like even my dad, like just saying I love you, do you know what I mean? Like you don't hear that compared to like in certain other families, like a lot of my white friends, like when they're growing up, like their parents, I love you, son, and the hugs and everything, and you're just looking, you're like, well, that looks cool, like, but you've never really experienced it, but you only experienced it from a distance. And it was very weird, because I would say that my parents were very understanding, and that they definitely gave me that, like, that blanket of like, all right, this is something that we need to sort out. And I think that you only find out until it happens. You don't want it to happen. You don't want that situation to happen, but you only find out until those situations happen. And it's only until you go through it, until people know, like, everyone's learning, because it's not like there's no rule book and a way how to teach people to go through these situations. No one taught my mum and dad how to go through a kid who's trying to do suicide.
How do you teach that?
You don't teach it. You don't teach it. It's experience. So let's actually go into what happened.
Yeah. So the day that happened, my mum left. She went to work. Then that day, everything spiraling. Then I was just like, I've had enough. Do you know what I mean? I just had enough. I just want to not exist, not be about.
Was there one overbearing thought?
Yeah. The most overbearing thought was just that incompletion. Like, you're just going. Like, that's it.
Just existing, yeah?
Yeah. Like, the purpose of your existence was nothing. Like, even to experience certain things, and like, but it was where it's like you want to go because you feel that life is just going to be the same and there's no way out. So it's kind of an easier position. And that's when I was just I remember just going into my mom's a nurse and taking like loads of medication and stuff which I shouldn't have taken, and just literally just overdosing on so much.
Do you remember, once you'd taken those pills, do you remember what you were feeling?
Not really, because like when you get to that point and you're that deep, you're numb to so much that to get to that point, there's a lot of thought. It wasn't just that day; it was time, and it's just like it's just like a bomb. Do you know what I mean? It's just like it's ticking. When is it gonna go off? It could go off at any single point, and that's when it went off at that point. And I was in my room, and and it was so weird because my closest friend, came to my house, and I woke up with him coming through the window. All I can remember was he told me the story. He came through the window, and I just woke up and I was in an ambulance, obviously putting all the stuff to get that stuff out of me, and I was just in and out. And the only fully time which I could really recollect was the point of taking something. Then that was it. Do you know what I mean? Then from there it was my friend taking. Like,
so there was no feeling of resignation or feeling of this is it, or even a feeling of guilt.
No guilt, because like you're very selfish at that point because it's about you. Do you know what I mean? Like, you've stopped caring about like anything else, how this person feels, and like the guilt is after when you see those people's faces.
I'm intrigued that you said that. It's crazy because people often label people that successfully or even unsuccessfully try to commit suicide as selfish, and it's like, so my dad tried to do it, and I understood why. I understood why my dad tried to do it. So I wasn't angry.
No.
I wasn't. I guess I wasn't even really upset. I was like, I understand.
Yeah, like
I'm glad nothing. I'm glad it didn't happen, but I understand now. What can we do to help you kind of get through that?
There's a big stigma around it because, again, this environment that we live in, it's a trend to be not okay.
Yeah,
it's a good trend. It's a good way to get things from people. It's a good way for people just to have conversation.
Yeah,
like everybody wants to be depressed or some sort and be telling of it. Like over the past years, like there was only 2 people out of my close friends that knew I went through that situation until I did that documentary, and that was my close friend who saved my life and then my friend who came with him to the hospital, because I was like, I don't want to be that guy that's like, my story is about this.
Yeah.
I want to show you that my art and what I do comes first before
Yeah.
That moment hasn't defined you.
Nah,
In a way,
yeah.
it's not irrelevant because it's a part of your life, but it's really insignificant.
Yeah.
You know, who you are as a person now, you're the artist.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, 100%. And that's the biggest thing. And when you go around and you listen to this and girls are telling you, yeah, I'm depressed and this, it's like, I don't want to question whether you are, because that's the question which you don't want to get.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And that's a question nobody should ever question.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody should.
I think it's because you're coming from lived experience and you've been there.
Yeah.
And your mindset was, I don't really want to share this. I want to kind of keep it to myself, and I want my talent to define me instead of people feeling sorry for you and getting somewhere based on those feelings of sympathy.
Exactly.
Yeah? So you're on the way to the hospital. You're in and out of consciousness. What's your next recollection at that point?
Next recollection was being in the hospital, and obviously my friend, like, I can just remember my friend had his head in his hands and he didn't know what was going on. He didn't know how to handle that situation, and he's obviously on the phone with my mum, and then now you're in a position of I was recollecting myself after obviously having medication and flushing everything out of me. I was being sick, etc. Then from the situation, now you've got the mental health people who are coming in and asking you questions and don't really agree with like how they deal with certain things within the health system when it comes to certain things like that, because it's very instant. It's like, imagine just getting shot and straight away you've got like they're doing surgery on you and they're asking you questions while they're doing. It's just like you've just come from something that's your mind can't even collect. Then instantly it's asking questions. What is this? They're asking such deep questions where I'm just like, get out of my face. I do not even want to speak to you guys, and it makes it worse.
Do you mind me asking what kind of questions they were asking you?
So they were just asking like about your parents. Why did you do this? Do you take drugs? Do you do this? Do you do that? And it's so many questions which are even so personal. Do you like your mum and dad? Do you get on with them? Do you speak? Do you have your demons speaking to you? Do you hear voices? Do you hear this? And it's questions where you're just like, it's like you're in a hot seat and you don't even know what to answer, right? Then after those questions, I'm thinking, I'm just going to go home. No, actually, we're going to section you under this, and that because we feel X, Y, and Z. My mum's not there. She's not even being told. My mum's not even there to sit next to me to even be able to speak on my behalf. You're sat there by yourself. I'm only a young guy, and like you got these people sat in front of you, and they're just like, oh, hi, I'm the mental health this, and I'm the doctor who did this. And then you got the doctor sat there. You just got these people sat in front of you, and you're just in a position where they understand that you're not in the right frame of mind right there and then. I would have gone home the next day if I had my mum there or my dad.
This is really interesting, man. This is
infuriating
really interesting.
that.
There's a statistic that, and I'm going to ask you a question off the back of this, right? That 2/3, black men are three times more. If you're black, you're 2/3 more likely to be sectioned than a white person.
No, most definitely.
Under the same,
right?
Just like, say a white schizophrenic and a black schizophrenic, the black person's gonna more than likely going
most
to be
definitely.
So if there was a white person in your situation, they would have been able to go home.
No, definitely.
Now, at that point, right? At that point, and this is a bit of an unfair question, but did you feel that you were that bad that you needed to be sectioned?
No. I needed help, but not section.
Yeah. And that's not help, is it?
That's not help.
No.
Like, that's putting an animal in a cage to make it worse. Do you know what I mean? That's literally just it's kind of like putting so much fuel to a fire that's like, now it's like, bloody hell, the first day I got in there, am I crazy? Am I okay?
Well, that's it.
You start questioning.
You start questioning yourself.
Yeah,
like, oh man,
you start thinking so many things. It's like then you're with other people who, I don't like to say they're not okay, but like people who need that.
100 million %.
Yeah, who need that. They're there for a specific purpose. But then you're just there and you're looking around, and then and it's the way that they're also treating you as well. Like, it's like your patient zero. Do you know what I mean? Like, you've got your room, you can't do this, you can't have blah 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 blah. It's just like they need to put you in a comfortable environment that has like cushions where they're so fluffy where it just feels warm. Yeah, you don't want to be in a position where everything is just, it's such a cold place. And I feel so sorry, and like in the future when I get to that point, I want to help people in there because like it's so cold. Like when I feel that place and even feel everything of being there, it's super duper cold. Do you know what I mean? There's nothing there.
It doesn't, for me, it doesn't seem like it's a place of support, because my dad's episode was so similar but different to yours. Wasn't diagnosed with schizophrenia, but when he became quadriplegic, so he's gone from being the strongest person I know, and then he's in his bed having all these drugs pumped into him for various different reasons on life support, and like the doctors did with you, we had this, it's like you see in the movies, two guys in lab coats come in with their fucking boards and their pens, and I was there, and what was mad is how comfortable they felt asking the questions in front of me. And also my dad couldn't talk. He couldn't talk, so it was just blinks, or he barely could nod his head. And they asked him in front of me, do you want to live? And at this point my dad said no, and I'm like, you need to get the fuck out before I do something to one of you, man. And it's when you was describing your story, I was grabbing my legs. I'm thinking, because it's bringing back memories for me, and I'm thinking, you need support in that moment. You don't need prodding and poking.
Exactly.
No, it's by the book. What they don't understand is every single human being in this life has a different thing. It's not by what's on paper. You can't go by script. This person's thing is not the same as this person's. They're going by script. This is how you go by it, and this is how you do it. And then again, there's no love into it, because to them it's just a job. Like, it's just like, let me get through this guy and get to the next.
That's
person
crazy,
and go
man.
home. Do you know what I mean?
So when you're in that situation, did it make you feel worse?
Yeah, 110%, 110%. Like, I felt worse than before, because you're here and then they're telling you you can't leave. You can't leave. Like, you can't even go outside. Like, you want to go outside, like, it's like prison. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you can't leave. Then it's around Christmas time, and then everything around, like, how you do things, it's regimented. It is prison. Like, everything is like by the book, by the thing. Like,
if anything, it's worse than prison.
Worse. Like, and by this time, door locked. It's just like, that locking of the door can do so much. Where I remember one moment where they have to leave a certain person's door open because they go crazy when you lock the door. But think about the mentality of everybody else as well. You lock that door, they just feel excommunicated. Then want an open door for something where someone's there for them, do you know what I mean, to speak to them. And it's, with mental health, the worst thing, I feel like I don't want to blame the NHS or anything else, but I feel like the way that they go around it is by the book, and it's the worst thing. They shouldn't go by the book. They should go by feeling and understanding, and just like it's mental. It's not like breaking your knee. You go by the book. Yeah. You go by how to do that in the mind. That's totally different.
That's really interesting, actually, because the way you're explaining it and the way that we have our own experiences of it, it's almost as if they're trying to heal a wound, an open wound, a physical wound, and it's not like that. No. And we've said it so many times, the system is broken. Yeah. It is totally broken. You nailed it. Yeah. Everybody goes through different situations and gets to that point of crisis through a million different ways. And that's what needs to be addressed. Exactly. This, like you were saying, the checklist, it just doesn't work. No, it doesn't. And then to lock you away when actually at that point you need to be feel free and open and not isolated. Yeah. It's like counterproductive.
Like over lockdown, what were they saying? Go for walks, do this, it's good for your mind. Okay, then why are you locking people up?
Yeah. Exactly.
If it's good for your mind, it's so counter against like what you're trying to do. Like, they're telling you to do these things. Gym, do this, and why are you not saying to those people in there, do that? Why is there not exercise sessions? Why is there not this? There's so much that they could be going through, but again, it's by the book, because they just see you as a patient and just a number on that sheet, as in this person, blah 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 blah. Then when you're speaking to the nurses there, and they're like, "You're okay," like they know that you're fine. Do you know what I mean? And they were even telling me certain things, and like, it's even weird when nurses will tell you don't take the medicine that they're going to prescribe to you.
The nurses are telling you that?
They're telling me that don't take this.
Wow.
Don't take this. Like, this will numb you. This will not make you feel better. This will just make you not think. And the one of the good things, those key things which I learned in there, one person was just like, it's not your, like, when I put it in the documentary, it's not you're crazy, and elaborating on that, it's things in your life are not going well. Yeah. That's why you're getting to this point. And he told me, imagine an accountant who's going through so much stress, and I'm not an accountant, somebody who's got a lot of money is going through so much stress, and taxes coming after him, and they start going crazy. To help them, you need to help them with their taxes. Yeah. Not their mental, like, I think it's things in your life that are messing around. So it's having people who be like, what's going on in your life that we can help with? Yeah. How can we help your life in a certain way? How can we guide you instead of being, take this tablet, it's going to make you feel better?
Do you feel if you had somebody at that point to talk to and to listen to you, that would have helped you a lot more than being locked up?
Definitely. Somebody to listen to, somebody to talk to, somebody who can just guide you, do you know what I mean? Because as a black guy, you feel like you're in this thing that you have, it's a wilderness kind of thing, and it's survival. Like, we shouldn't, like, 2021, you shouldn't have to survive in life. Like, and as a black guy, you still feel like you're trying to survive, like, and life is just telling you survive. Live off it's the bare minimum, but just survive. Just keep surviving. Go through life and just survive. It's survival. That's why in Africa people live like it's just survival. Like you're struggling. You're fighting for every other day. You're not thinking, next year I'm going to do this investment. That's why they can do certain stuff, because they're able to see on such at a fast scale, 10, 20 years. But I'm thinking, next year what I'm going to do. Next week how am I going to do this? Next month how am I going to pay this? You're living to survive now. How am I going to pay this bill? You're just surviving.
Do you think that that comes from a foundation of discrimination and from your ethnicity?
I've got a lot of white friends who I've grown up with. I just think that, and they went through the same situation, which that's why I say I feel like it's classism and being from a certain place, being from a certain demographic, like. If you're from Bradford, even if you're white or black, you get treated the same from a person from Leeds because of what they depict from the people from there. So it's like what people see of those people and like what they get from that. Like, I know my friends who are white went through the same thing as well. They may not been called black or had some sort of racism, but they've gone through the same situations and the same things, and like even with mentally and even through life as well, where they're also surviving as well. And obviously for black people it's more enhanced because they won't be picked out, and it's easier for them to get out of survival than it would be for me to get out of survival. Like, for me, survival, I have to go get it by myself. Compared to them, they had to fall back on someone can bail you out of that kind of thing there, and then you've got your family. All
their issues would be prioritized over your issues.
Exactly. Yeah. And my family's back in Africa. Who do you fall back on? 1, 2, 3 people. Who do you fall back on over here? A lot of people, because your foundations are here. So that's the kind of that broken thing that a lot of black people, I feel that's the biggest thing. It's that your home is so far away, even if you feel your home is here, because when you do fall, this is not your home. They tell you it's not your home.
But this is the thing. People will class your home as being the house that you grew up in with your mum and dad or whatever family. That's not the case. And I bet you feel at home every day when you're with your guys and you're creating and you're making clothes and that's home to you.
Yeah, definitely. And like that's the biggest thing. And because if I know something goes wrong, I've got something to fall back on, and these people to fall back on. That testing that you do when you fall back, who's going to catch you? Like, you got those people, but as I feel for a lot of people who are put into this category of not going to be successful because they have nothing to fall back onto, like there's no pillows to fall back onto, it's very tough. You fall and you just keep falling and it gets worse and worse and worse and worse. Then you get to a point where you feel like you don't want to be there no more.
So support network is extremely important.
It's huge.
So let's come back to how long were you sectioned for?
For around 4 weeks. So around 4 weeks, I got it was November, because I remember exactly the day I got out on the 27th of December. Yeah, so it was around November time I got out on the 27th of December.
In the documentary that you've done, you talk about somebody coming up to you while you were sectioned and saying to you, looking into your eyes and saying, "You don't belong here." Yeah. Was that a turning point at all for you?
Yeah, huge. Like that guy, like if I could ever find that person, like I've got so much love for you because of just what you told me, and like even certain stuff, and I can't even say certain stuff that you even told me there because I feel that it's personal. It's very personal, and you have to keep those things until like later on. And from what he gave to me, he gave me energy. Do you know what I mean? He gave you, like, I felt that he was speaking through so many other people. Do you know what I mean? Like certain words he was saying, and like certain words my granddad used to say, he was saying, and this and that, and blah blah. And I was just like, whoa, this is so unreal. And it got to a point the first day he seen me and I seen him, and he was just looking at me, and you could see then a couple of days in, that's when he started speaking to me and getting in. We had more of a conversation. Then after a while, then now I was like, this guy was definitely like psychoanalyzing me, of just like seeing and understanding. Then when we had the conversation, he was really in depth of what to do and the outside, and he was one that, like, it's your environment. Be careful with your environment, because your environment can shape you to be so many things without you even knowing. And he like, and you can be accustomed and you can be a slave to your own environment, and that can also hurt your mind. And he said that you weren't, like, you were going through a stage of transition. Your mind is okay. You're going through a state of transition. And he said that, imagine just training a dog to do the same thing. Then after a while, you change it to do something different in a different environment. It will go a bit crazy because you're trying to change so much that's being so, like, ingrained. You're 23 years old. You've been told so much same stuff every day. You're looking on your phone and you're told so much and you're processing so much. So when you want to change and be this other person, and it was like, I know you want success, but the mind is scared of success because failing is the hardest thing. So to have success comes with failure. So he's like, your mind don't want to fail. It's like, it's easier just to keep failing. And that's what you were doing, and that's easy. But if you want to succeed, it's hard. So it's like, how are you going to do this? Or and then your anxiety gets over you, and then your mind is like, how are you going to process doing all this? You want to be a designer and artist, but it comes with all this stuff. And subconsciously, it's like picking that, then you start going crazy. But you feel like it's not you're going crazy, it's your mind's trying to
process
something new.
Was this guy a patient?
Yeah, as a patient. Yeah.
He was a patient.
He was a patient.
Mad. I was gonna ask that, and I was like,
he was a patient.
Because the way you were speaking, I was like, this guy sounds like a patient, man.
He's a patient.
And that's amazing in itself. And again, we don't know. I don't know anything about that guy, but it just goes to show that it sounds like, especially from your situation, it's just easy to go section him. Get him in there. No, definitely. It's easier to do
because he's talking. You know, the way you're describing it.
I thought he was a doctor. I thought he was a doctor
because he's talking with so much clarity.
Yeah, it's too much clarity, and I was just like, nah, this is crazy. And like, I'm like, how are you here? You're telling me how am I? How are you here? And he's telling me I've been in the system for 25 years.
That in itself
that's
shows
insane.
you how broken it is. Yeah. That 25 years.
I've been in the
and
system
you're still in there,
years.
and you was there for 4 weeks.
Like, and I don't understand. Like, that means it's not working.
Exactly, it's broken. We say it every week. It's broken.
Yeah,
System is
your
broken.
Your track record shows that it's not well. Like, I've had the same person here for 25 years. Doing the same thing. That means it's not working. Like, switch it up, try something new, change the walls to a different color, then like do something totally
but that, new. Like what you said is so important, and slowly now, and it's crazy because the amount of studies that show how important nutrition and physical training is towards people's mental health. Like the fact that you guys didn't do exercise baffles me. Absolutely baffles me.
Very good point.
Definitely. Like, that's huge. Fruit, tea, like everything, all these things. Like, As soon as I left there, my mum took me back home. My mum took me back home to Zambia. I went back home to Zambia. Went to the village. My mum took me away from everything. Everything. Go back to the village. It takes 2 days to get there. You have to travel far. When your phone goes off, you need to walk 10 hours to go get your phone charged. When the lights are off, it's gone. You're away from everything. It's quiet. There's no noise. Like, that gave me the biggest energy ever. Like, just being away from everything.
Just detaching yourself from everything.
It shows you how much your environment does to you. Do you know what I mean? So many little things. Just someone even smiling at you in the street, that can help somebody who's going through something, but you just don't know. But it's because your environment's just telling you, just do your thing, be selfish, don't care about the next person, get on with life. But you just never know, that person who you walk past, even if you just smiled at them nice, or you walk across the street because they're a black guy, that affects so much. That ripple effect is huge. That could be that person doing what I wanted to do. Yeah. Because they just feel like the world doesn't care.
Yeah.
Let's talk now. I'm excited to get on to the good part, to the next chapter, the success, the brand, and you, the fashion designer. Let's talk Skitzo, man.
Nah, amazing thing. It's weird because I don't like saying like things are obviously premeditated and destined, because then life would be boring if I already knew how things are already going to be like. But I was already doing like selling clothes when I was like 14, 15. I was selling t-shirts. I remember just selling like Chris Brown t-shirts just to print, and I was just getting loads of t-shirts printed, selling them. I made decent money when I was young, like, in selling t-shirts, and I really liked it. I started getting a lot of snapbacks, a lot of hats. I was like the snapback king at school. Like, I made sure that was my tag. And then seeing all that kind of stuff, then my granddad had been a big mentor to me, even though he passed away, and he taught me on the culture thing and like arts, and the thing that comes with it is, it's not about what you make, it's the energy that you put into it. And he gave me like one of the scary theory on like Basquiat. He put so much energy into his art, it took him. Like, there's so many people who give so much energy to the world who we count as stars that get taken away. It's because their energy is so crazy that it can't be handled, that it's horrible that they go away, but it's so huge. And it's like, put energy and give your all into what you want to do, and people will feel it. Like, and that's where, like, with the clothes and Skitzo and the clothing, it's like, put your energy of what you've been through and like what you want to do and everything around it, and just that real grit, not surface stuff. You can tell when something doesn't have anything into it, and you can see now when you see a lot of people doing things without purpose, because it just comes from a place of either you're wealthy or you've already got that, so there's no emotion, energy into it. You can just see it's just well funded compared to when you see Skitzo, you see something where it's very nitty gritty, it's very dirty, it's very like from the soil, but it's got so much potential to be very clean as well.
Because of the energy that you put into it. And the other thing is that I find really interesting is as much as you're the driving force behind it, you shy away from taking credit for it, and you call it a community.
Yeah, definitely.
So the people that you've surrounded yourself with, you've given them the accolade of actually pushing, giving the Skitzo the success that it's had.
Definitely. No, it has to be that way, because if without everybody, it can't work. So it's you who are actually the forefront of the brand. Like, if we buy Louis Vuitton, we're the forefront of Louis Vuitton. Do you know what I mean? Because we're the one who are showcasing them. We're the one who are parading and giving that brand a highlight of the successes of the brand. Do you know what I mean? So when people wear Skitzo, I'm like, you made that, because like you made it happen. Like, you wearing it and everything and all that. Like, you give the idea. Like, looking at people, like you get the idea from people as well. So it's the people who give you the thing. So it's like, you're just a vessel who knows how to make stuff for everybody else. And that's why I want to include people, because if you feel so far away from it, it's like, what does it mean then? And then making this brand, that's why I wanted to have a brand with purpose. Like, a lot of people do things without purpose because they just feel like, I can just do anything, and without having like not understanding the outcomes of what comes with just doing things without purpose. Like, there's so much that comes with it, do you know what I mean? So I wanted to do something that had a purpose, something that people can see that, this carries certain something, and this is trying to do something that even you can't really fathom it, but you can see that there's something coming from it.
Yeah.
And you want to see that the end thing.
There's a message and a movement behind the brand, right?
Yeah.
You've also touched on before the fact that you can't believe where it's got to.
Yeah.
So what did you think it was going to be, and where is Skitzo now?
So I thought it was going to be one of those where I'd just be like churning out like t-shirts and doing tracksuits and all that kind of stuff, and stuff where I was just doing clothing and not really understanding and not really having like the knowledge. But now it's like, it's fun to gain these knowledge and like look at old techniques and bringing stuff back, and it's now fun. It's not something where I'm like, this is the way out. Like, don't find a way out in anything, because it will never be the way out. Do you know what I mean? Because then you're putting too much pressure on that one thing. Do you know what I mean? So I was just like, nah, this is fun. Like, this is something that's fun to do. Like,
do you know what? I love that you said that, because what you mentioned about Bradford earlier, you know, now you're showing, I'm from Bradford, and look what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You don't need to go to London to go find some sick designer. Come to Bradford.
Absolutely.
No, definitely. And it's beating those things. And I look at a lot of people who do this thing, like, let's say Kanye West, Basquiat, Keith Haring, all these guys, like, they take the reason why they're successful because they take the bullet for so many other people, but they never highlight it. They take that bullet, like, they stand there and open that door, even if it hurts. Like, that's why I give so much props to Kanye and like Virgil and stuff, because they're opening that door, which other people like don't understand. There's a lot of pain that comes with holding that door open, where the people will call you crazy and that, but you're willing to take that. And like, that's where I want to go with this. I'm like, I'm willing to take that bullet for everybody else to also come through as well, because you may think I'm good, but the next person who does this is going to be even better. It's going to be even more crazy. And like, for me doing this, you may find the next person who will change the world. Do you know what I mean? Just like our mentors, Martin Luther King, all these guys, it's like, that's what their message was. Do you know what I mean? Like Tupac, all these people, their message was to do that certain thing. And it's just like, I think we all have that duty to kind of definitely do that in whatever we do.
Absolutely. I mean, we had Aaron on a previous the last podcast, and you know, he's very well known TV personality, documentary maker, and he said exactly the same thing. You know, he said, I've opened the door, and that's my legacy, is that I've opened the door a little bit more for people from my racial background, from my ethnic background, to then for them to come along and then open the door a little bit more. As a black business owner, have you found it a challenge to build the business?
Most definitely. It's such a challenge, because it's, again, nobody teaches your parents. Your parents are first generation. My parents came from Africa. I came from there. I was born in Zambia, and none of that is like even apparent. Like, and obviously, like, it's very hard to be able to teach so many people how to do the foundations of starting a business and what you do and stuff. Then I was fortunate as well to have my dad, and my dad started his own business, and all I saw was, it wasn't the outside of it, the inside of it, of the details on legal papers, accounts, all that kind of stuff. Obviously that helps, but the biggest key thing which I saw was work rate. Just work hard. Yeah. Just work hard. Everything else will fall into place. Just work hard.
I think that's a concept a lot of people struggle with, you know, and like us three here, you know, we've lived it. We've come from nothing, and I'm so glad you said that, because it goes over a lot of people's head. Forget everything else. If you're good at what you do, and you work your arse off for it, trust me, good shit's gonna happen.
Like, I work with a lot of people, and like, when they want to start their brand and all that kind of stuff, and they'll come to me and like, because I got to a point now where I want to help other people start their brands and get to a point. But the number one thing, the idea, no hard work. It's just about the idea, but no hard work. There's so many amazing ideas on this earth, but it's just the people who work the hardest.
They don't want to do the 18 hour days.
They don't want to, no.
They don't want
Everybody wants to make the money now and not put the hard work in. But then equally, you need to have you need to have that kind of success inside of you to be that fire and that desire. Well, you were talking about energy, right? You've got to have that.
Exactly.
You can't just draw a few designs and expect it to become something, right?
Definitely. One of my friends, I recently started working with this girl who's making some clothes of us, and she was like, a lot of people, and I've seen a lot of people coming through to the house, and how come you chose me to make to do these? Because she was thinking that I wasn't going to work with her, and I said that you don't know as much as those other people, and it's your desire.
Yeah.
Desire you can't buy her. You can't buy. You can't. It's something that's you desire. Do you know what I mean? Like, you have the desire. I said you were coming from Preston to my house, and you never complained once. You never even flinched. You came there 7 days a week, and you were not bothered. You didn't even care what time you went home, because your desire was to fulfill whatever you did, and it doesn't matter. And when you were in the studio, a lot of people, when they come into the studio, they don't want to get messy, they don't want to get dirty, because it's appearance, it's perception, it's I can't. It's just like, if you really want to do this, you get to the nitty gritty. You're willing to blood. You're willing to spill blood for this. It's that deep. And if you're gonna go to that far, that means you can go far with anything you do. No matter, even if you wanted to fly to the moon, you would probably get there, because you've got the desire to do that, compared to other people where it's just like, you've got the tools to do what you need to do, but you just don't have the real desire to actually do more with it and actually get to that point. And I feel like that's a big thing, which I'm like, with all my friends and people who do this Skitzo thing, which I always tell, it's just like, it's desire. If you don't have the desire to wake up, how are you ever going to do this? If you don't have the desire to learn more from yourself, how are you ever going to do anything? It has to cross over the board. It has to be now a character trait. But a lot of people say, this is how I am and this is how I'm going to be. It's like, but how about who you're going to be in the future? Like, why don't you tell yourself, one day I want to be a person with desire?
Yeah. And it's that passion and desire that's lacking in a lot of people at the moment.
Exactly.
What's the future for Skitzo?
Future, big for Skitzo is a lot of runways, a lot of fashion shows, installations, community stuff, just being within the culture in a certain way that's not forcing people with it. I don't want to force people with something. I want to give them something that just comes into their life like it was always there. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's of ease. It's really it's something that just like seamlessly fits into your life. It's not like a need. Like, it's not one of those where a kid's running to their mum like, I need this to be cool. No. Like, it's just a part of the whole thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I feel like with the clothing, we'll be able to help a lot of things. So many things, like subconsciously, like I was speaking to you about it, of just that word of, I want to wear that, but I can't. But that also stems with a lot of things behind that. And with Skitzo, we want to get to a point where you can wear that and your identity is now bigger. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can now hold your stride, and if you're an African guy, you can wear your Skitzo jeans that have got whatever you want onto them, and you feel proud with what you want to do. Just like when you see people wearing extravagant clothes in town, like, they have more balls than anybody. They may look weird to you, but that's Skitzo. They're being that inner person in them who they should be. You're not. You're wearing a suit and tie and being told what to do by Bob. You're not you. You're not you. You're definitely not you. Yeah.
Oh man, I love that.
Who is just wearing something super crazy, that they are Skitzo. They are 110% them. Yeah. They're love willing to do what you're not.
Amazing.
Brilliant.
Amazing.
What a story,
Thank you
man.
so much for coming on, man.
Yeah,
we finally got there. In the end. It's been a hard one trying to get you on. Guys, that's been episode 13 with Mulz. You can find him
Skitzo worldwide, or you can find myself, mulz.skits. Contact me, give me an email.
Check out his clothes, guys. Because,
unbelievable,
you know, I mean, I'm not even going to gas it up. We're not going to gas it up. You've got to check it out for yourself. This has been the Leading Minds podcast, leading you to a better life.